This. How many people feel like today they are living the life that they really want? I mean, everything in every area is perfect. Good. Welcome to the human race. What we're going to do in 2 hours is we're going to cover 3 very important modules of living on purpose. One is integrity-based communications, the second is values clarification, and the third is living a balanced life. So wherever you are today, I want to invite you to go to the next level. Just one level up will get you closer to where you want to be. It may be something as simple as, well, I always tell the truth, I'm always honest, and then coming to the realization that maybe there's a habit that you need to break and replace it with something else so that you can be more honest with yourself, if not everybody else. So that's what we're going to start with, is integrity-based communications, and you have this handout. So for those of you like Peter who are copious note takers, you may write on the handout if you want to, or you can do it in your notebook. It doesn't matter to me, but it just gives you something that you can take away. And when I say integrity, what are some of the words that come to mind for you? The synonyms.
Truthful.
Honest. Yeah.
Truthful, honest. Say again, Sherry.
Wholeness.
Wholeness, yes.
I was at a conference once and someone said integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Perfect.
go.
Great. There you
Yeah.
go, Dana. Doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Exactly.
I'd also like to offer a couple of word thoughts that create pictures. Think of driving across a bridge, maybe over the expressway. Do you want a bridge that has integrity, or do you want one that's maybe 99%?
No.
No. So you want something that's strong, that's stable, that can't be broken, that can't be torn down. Or think about a mathematical term, like an integer. What does an integer mean?
Number.
It's a number, but what is it? What is the characteristic of an integer?
Wholeness.
Wholeness, divisible only by itself. And so if you have personal integrity, the only person who can take it away is not you, or you, or you, or you. It's we ourselves.
Yeah.
Or as my favorite philosopher Pogo says, we have met the enemy and he is us. And so this is an opportunity to laugh a little while we're learning, to try to make what we're taking away stick enough, be sticky like a blog, so that you can go to the next level. And first we're going to start with integrity-based communications. There is a researcher by the name of Albert Mehrabian, Mehrabian, now affiliated with UCLA, who broke down effective communication into 3 component parts. They are the words, the tone of voice, and the body language. Words, tone of voice, and body language. So if you pictured effective communications as a pie, what do you suspect would be the slice of the pie that represents the words and the words alone?
20%.
20%. Anybody else have an idea?
Seemed like it'd be more than that.
I would think it would be less. I would think.
Actually, it is less. It's 7% according to Mehrabian's research.
Wow.
So stop and think about that next time you're sending a text or an email. If you have something that has the potential of needing more than the words and the words alone to communicate something maybe emotional or something that's a little bit loaded or has a double meaning, think about getting in front of them at least with video email, if you can't do it in person. So the second component is the tone of voice. Now, 7% words, what do you think is the tone of voice? The sarcasm or the happiness or the excitement or the passion?
I would say 30% maybe.
30% actually is very close. It's 38%. 38%. Well, it's pretty,
No, but I do know, like, when you're sending an email, you may try to be sending something that's lighthearted, but when you read it, it can be crass, and
absolutely.
You lose the emotion in email.
You lose the emotion. You also can lose credibility, and you can also lose some time, because people around the water cooler saying, "Can you believe this email? Look at and then by the time you actually step back and someone says, "I don't see that," or you sit down with the sender and you go, "Whoa, that was not my come from at all." So the tone of voice, or the lack thereof, Again, instead of sending an email or a text, perhaps you call and leave a voicemail so they can hear you laughing and being excited as opposed to, coming across as being sarcastic or disrespectful. So even for those of you who are not math majors, you've had time to add up the 7% or 38%, and what does that leave for body language? 55% for the body language. So whether I'm leaning forward or I'm smiling or I'm raising my eyebrows or as my mother would do, raising my eyebrows. Does anybody have a mother who can still control them across the room with the raise of her eyebrow?
My husband.
Same thing. So what I want to say is that also includes such things as how you hold your body, what your power position is, if you will. What?
I was going to say I would leave that down, I think.
It doesn't. It's got a nice picture now. So, words, tone of voice, body language. The only time that I would say, now that I am a blogger and now that I'm into keyword research and maximizing online presence, I would say that keywords have more weight than 7%. But generally speaking, in effective communications, now it's not just a straight 7%, 38%, 55%. What Moravian was saying is that if there is a disconnect, if what you're saying with your words does not connect with the sarcasm in your voice or the, oh, I don't care in your body language, then the body language, the turned back, is going to trump the tone of voice, even if you're sounding happy. The tone of voice that's sarcastic will trump the words that says, everything's okay. So if you had seen that in a text, you'd go copacetic, everything's on. But if you hear the tone of voice, it will trump it. Even if someone doesn't know these statistics, intuitively we go, something here isn't right. This doesn't feel right. And so that's just a little caution that integrity-based communications is plural for a reason. You are actually taking your words, your tone of voice, your body language, your energy, your attitude. It's all got to line up if you want people to get the totality of what it is you're trying to express. So every aspect of communication, you want to be clear and consistent, regardless of the mode of delivery. So what I want to ask you to do is follow along with me, again, if you're a note taker, and fill in the blanks, because we're going to pair together two behaviors on 3 different levels. The first 2 behaviors of integrity-based communications allow people to get to know you better. And B&I and Ivan Meisner says people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Well, I would wind it back even further than that. People do relationship with people they know, like, and trust. Would you agree with that? So if there's a disconnect, it's like, if I'm choosing this business partner versus this business partner, there's going to be a comfort level and a consistency level that makes me want to do business and hang out with them. So going deeper, I say, really allows people to relate better to you. These first 2 behaviors allow people to get where you're coming from. And so if you are willing to, 1, tell your truth quicker, faster. Tell your truth quicker, faster. And 2, ask for what you want. It saves a lot of time.
Do we feel that?
Yes, tell your truth quicker, faster is number 1, and ask for what you want is number 2. These 2 behaviors together will allow people to get to know you better, because you're not playing games. You're not expecting them to read your mind. You're not being coy. You're not withholding. You're actually willing to take risks, to be more authentic, to tell your truth quicker, faster, ask for what you want.
Ask for what you want.
Ask for what you want. Do we typically tell our truth quicker, faster, or do we hold back and wait to see what everybody else is going to say? Do we typically ask for what we want or go, it's not important what I want? Now, I'm not going to get preachy on you, but Scripture tells us that if you seek, you will find. If you knock, the door will be open. And yet we are so hesitant to go, oh, what I want isn't important enough. So telling your truth quicker, faster, ask for what you want. lets you put your stuff out on the table. You're not holding your cards. This is not a poker game. This is the game of life. And the more willing you are to take risks, just to open the kimono and say, this is who I am. And to not fear whether someone's going to like you. Because I know you're a good person. You wouldn't be sitting here today. You wouldn't be coming to a Living on Purpose sampler if you didn't really want to get, to the heart and soul of yourself and be willing to share it with other people. So the second two behaviors, once you've let people peek behind the curtain and see who you are, the second two behaviors allow people to get to like you better. And if you want to be considered likable, what must you do?
Be open.
Be open.
Be transparent.
Be transparent.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. She knows. Ask questions.
I'm a student.
What you have to be willing to do is to demonstrate that you like another person. So this is kind of antithetical. This is kind of counterintuitive, because we're told, if I say, ask for what you want, and then I turn around and say, but ask questions. When someone says to me, what do you do? I'm just using a simple defining statement. I'm not going, I own and I have and my credentials. I'm saying, I work with people who want to communicate more confidently and work together more profitably, face-to-face and online. Now, is that conversational? If any of those things appeal to you, you're going to say, tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
But I will answer the question out of respect for the person who's asking, but I'm immediately going to say, and Peter, what do you do? And he's going to start, the typical person is going to take their 5 minutes and throw up on me. But you know what? While he's giving me all that information, it's allowing me to listen for a way that I can connect him to somebody that would serve him, either personally or professionally. And when I say work together more profitably, face-to-face and online, the typical business person is going to hear money, 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 money. But when I say profitably, it may be spiritually, it may be emotionally, it may be in a way that they're giving me a clue with what they say, that intuitively I know that they need to meet someone. And I'm over trying to figure out what God's trying to tell me, other than paying attention to those nudges, those God winks, those opportunities to connect people with other like-minded people who may have a solution that isn't even being clearly articulated, but if I can hear the request behind the request, then I can be of service. And that's when we can start to feel more worthy, to feel more deserving, because we are literally deserve of service. So ask questions, and we typically ask questions for this. We're still on behavior number 3. Ask questions for information, for clarity, and the deeper meaning, to find out what drives people, what motivates them, what makes their heart sing, what gets them excited, what will get them to stay up later and work harder and give more. And that is not to manipulate them. That is to find out what floats their boat, so that you can position it in a way that it already answers the question, what's in it for me? So if I say to Lois, let's get together and move on with the next project. I'm so excited about what you did for me. Could we grab a Starbucks? What might you say?
I would say, when would you like to do that?
I'd love to do it at 8:30 on Monday morning if you're available.
Okay, now which Starbucks are you wanting to meet at?
How about the one on Poplar?
Okay, there's so many Starbucks on Poplar. Which one?
She's so smart. She's also read the book. But the point is, there are so many places we can disconnect. So as we hear Poplar, okay, so the one on Poplar and Ridgeway, or the one on Poplar and White Station, she's going, no, I was thinking more like the one in Germantown, right there next to Saddle Creek. Information, clarity, and bottom line, if we really want to go deeper, if we really do want to demonstrate our curiosity, our compassion, our come from, our way of being in the world, it's ask questions that help people channel their inner desires. Again, not to manipulate, but to create winning solutions. So after you've asked these questions, what's behavior number 4, students? Let's pay attention. I don't know about you. There are a couple of people in the room besides me who are over the age of 40. I don't remember everything by the end of a networking meeting. So now you're going to start watching me when you see me in a networking group. I may pull myself away a little bit and turn over on the back and write on the back of Doris's card, not Dolores, Doris. I've got a Dolores friend.
I called her
You've been
Dolores
talking about
on
me.
Blog Talk Radio.
So I'm going to make a little note about something that I promised to send. Delmar dinged me earlier. Apparently the email, no, but we had a one-on-one, and apparently the email where I said the meeting where I said I would connect her to some people never got translated into email, or she never got it. And so I need to have Delmar's card right here in front of me so I can say re-forward email or. Yeah, that's okay. But the point is, I will remember that I promised Delmar something, that we spent an hour, a delightful hour together, and that there was some action to be taken on both sides. If I don't write it down, and she doesn't write it down, guess what? It's just going to disappear and not happen, possibly. Or I may down the road go, oh, I was going to get Delmar connected with the Alliance for Nonprofit Excellence. So paying attention, whether it's, and we will peel back layers of this. I had a business partner at one time who was vegetarian. I was so proud of the fact that I would remember that Betty didn't eat anything with meat. I would be in charge of the food if we were having a training or we were doing a business meeting with somebody, and I'd really pat myself on the back because I took care of Betty. Finally, 2 years into the relationship, she said, I don't like vegetables the way you like them. She said, you like these crunchy salads. She said, I like greens, and I said, greens, but they have pork, stuff. Yeah, but I picked that out, Or I like cornbread. I like fresh I'd rather go to Piccadilly and have the fresh vegetables. It was like, why didn't we wait 2 years to learn that? So the willingness, if we're willing to model it, then other people will go, well, if Shelley can ask for what she wants, if Shelley can get specific, I can too. So if we're all going out to lunch, I might say, let's go out to lunch after this. Does anybody want to join me? Where would you like to go? Come on, what's the first thought?
Chili's.
Chipotle.
Chipotle? What else?
Is that Benihana's open?
Benihana. Well, see, this is a very, very attentive group because you're being specific. But what often happens when someone says, "Where do you want
Let's
to go?"
go get a salad.
No,
Mexican.
we said I don't care where you want to go.
Thank you,
Exactly.
Delmar. Wherever
Yeah.
you
What do
want to
you
go.
want?
And then I might say something like, "Well, have you been to that new Russian restaurant?" What are you going to say?
Which one?
No.
No, and I don't think I'm interested in Russian.
Okay, well, there's another
Like
real
Russian dressing.
interesting one that I've wanted to go to. It's the Ethiopian restaurant right down there on Poplar at Hollywood. Does that sound good?
Sounds different.
Sounds different.
Ethiopia.
Are you, Ethiopian? So see, if you're
Starving there?
if you're truly saying, I don't care, and then I make a couple of suggestions, you go,
You really do care.
Mhm.
You really do care. And so
That's
you're
right.
lying to yourself, you're lying to me, you're wasting my time. I'm just really being
Absolutely.
brutally honest. I would never do this to your face, but I think, maybe I can teach this person how to ask for what they want. Because by the time you've wasted somebody else's time, not mine, I'm very patient about this because I want people to get it. But by the time you've wasted maybe your boyfriend's time or your spouse's time, they can go, never mind, let's just stay home and have leftovers. It's like you said you didn't care, and now you're rejecting my ideas. What does that feel like?
Yeah.
You really rejected personally.
So sometimes we won't ask for what we want because we're afraid of being rejected, that someone's going to say no. You know what? It's just a request. I mean, really, if I say, Sherry, would you like to have a cup of coffee?
I don't think so. But thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Now, see, I can be Teflon. I mean, that just slides right off of me. Most people are Velcro. It's like, oh, she turned down my coffee. Now, I'm being silly when I say this, but think about it. When you make an offer in business and someone doesn't want what you have to offer, they're just declining your request. It's no big deal.
Mhm.
Most people are going to have to hear what you have to offer 7 different ways before they respond. If you get a first time yes, ma'am, you just say, thank you, God. So the third behavior is asking questions for clarity, for information, and what drives and motivates people. And the fourth is to pay attention. These 2 behaviors will allow people to like you better because you are first demonstrating that you like, that you care for, that you are concerned about the other person. You know what? My turn will come around. It may not be in this conversation today, but you cannot possibly outgive the universe. And if you are really investing in other people and finding out what will serve them, it'll come back around from somewhere. I'm not keeping score. I gave to you, you didn't give to me.
Right.
So keep in mind that people do things for their reasons, not our reasons. And so the more we can understand their come from, the more we can coach out of them what their truth is, what their important things are, the more likely we are to craft the winning solutions that are going to not only help our relationships thrive, but that's my posture, is that it's the relationships have to be built on a solid foundation before you're going to have ongoing, business relationships. You may do a transaction, but if you really want to build high trust relationships that turn into repeated business, that return into people becoming raving fans and referring you to others, that's what you've got to do. Now, the last 2 behaviors are where the rubber really meets the road. These are different levels of sophistication. This is where you can develop high performance teams. This is where you can develop collaborative partnerships. Sherry likes it because I say I'm not into competition, I'm into collaboration.
Yes,
because even if we do some of the same things, I may be smart, and Peter may be smart, and Beverly may be smart, but I'll tell you what, everybody together is an absolute powerhouse.
That's right.
So, to develop these high performance relationships that are going to translate into high performance teams or collaborations, you've got to, behavior number 5, keep your agreements. Keep your agreements. Now, can we always keep our agreements?
No, but we can
Sometimes-
communicate.
Yes, we can. Sometimes stuff happens. And this is a true story. One day I was on the way to the Crescent Club, very important meeting, a lot of people waiting. I don't like to keep people waiting. I like to be 10 minutes early. And I promise you this really happened. A woman was having a baby in her car in front of Baptist Hospital on Walnut Grove. The place was shut down. I absolutely could not get where I needed to get to go down Shady Grove and hit the Crescent Club. Well, fortunately for me, here was my mistake. I did not have the organizer's cell phone number with me. So I could not call to say, I'm running late, not to worry, I am on
That's
my way.
when you needed Lois.
That's right. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. I didn't know Lois back then. I thank God every day now that I know Lois in this very short period of time. So fortunately for me, the media had managed to get the word out ahead of me, and when I got there, everybody knew what was going on at Walnut Grove. So I just spent some energy being nervous about the fact that I wasn't meeting my standard of performance. But keeping our agreements means the minute we know we can't do something, we call and renegotiate. So for instance, I did end up with a double booking this morning, a meeting that ended at 8:45 and this one that started here at 9. And so I said to Lois, I am coming from the Crescent Club straight to the business center, Business Over Coffee Center. Do not worry. You expect me to be there 10 minutes early. I won't be. And I don't want Sherry upset. I don't want you upset. I will be on my way. So that was a way of, quite frankly, I would like to think now that my reputation is, if Shelley isn't here, something's gone wrong, because it's just not like her to be
Oh, it
late.
is, because remember the day that you had some things that were going on with St. Jude
Yes.
and you weren't here?
Yes.
I knew something had happened.
Yes.
Because you just don't
Thank
not
you.
show up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So keep your agreements, or at the very least, cover your agreements, whether it means somebody else does your reading at church this Sunday because you're not going to be there, or you've lost your voice and you text, or you somehow get a communication that you're covered, or if it's something that you personally must do, renegotiate before the deadline.
Mhm.
How many people in here have been in corporate America before?
Oh, Lord.
All of us. Not no, but you've been in the military, and I'm sure that there are times when people disappointed you because they didn't do what they said they were going to do or what they were expected to do. And if you've ever worked together in a team and someone's got to do things sequentially and you don't get the piece that you're supposed to work on over the weekend, how do you feel when you see that person on Monday and you gave up your weekend plans because you were committed to doing what you needed to do? It really doesn't matter, what the reason was. There's no excuse
That's right.
not to give the courtesy, the respect of saying,
That's right.
I can't do this and I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But then they could say, oh, I'm so glad you called. Now I can go on the golf weekend with my husband.
Exactly.
So you never know.
Yeah, that's right.
What I do is when I'm going to have a meeting with someone, go back to Lois. We're going to meet at Starbucks. It's going to be at the one at Poplar and Ridgeway. It's going to be at 8:30 in the morning. And I say, Lois, let me write down your cell phone number right here on my day timer. And the reason I do that is I may have it written down someplace, but if I'm running late, that's not the time to be digging around trying to call. Of course, I now have Lois in my cell phone, so all I have to worry about is if I didn't charge the cell phone, at least I got the plug-in in the car. See, I have backup plans, and that's what I'm trying to illustrate with a little bit of humor is, get ready for the backup plan. Peter knows, he's a Toastmaster. You get there and there's no technology. What are you going to do? You're going to pull out a flip chart, or you're going to have a handout, or you're going to do something that allows you to be able to do what you need to do. So, are you ready for behavior number 6?
We're ready.
Be accountable for the consequences of your choices. The phrase is be accountable, but what I add on is for the consequences of your choices, your actions. What is the difference between keeping your agreements and being accountable? Well, I'll tell you, the short form is when you keep your agreements, you do what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And to be accountable means you give up being a victim. You give up the blame game. I would have been here on time but for the train, or I would have been here on time, but my husband stopped me and I had to have a conversation. Be accountable. Walk in and say, I apologize. You don't have to tell the story. That just adds drama.
Mm-hmm.
You could say something like, I would never mean to disrespect your time, and I apologize. Can we move ahead? So I'm going to make a true confession here. I'm one of those people who is so busy. I had so much on my plate. I had so many things to do that when I breezed into a room like this, with all this brain power and all this time is money being wasted because I was late, I never counted the cost. Not financially, not emotionally, not relationally. Nobody busted me on it. I think it was a God wink. I think I got the nudge. It's like, whoa, when you show up late, what message is that sending? And I promise you, from my heart of hearts, I never meant to disrespect anybody. I just thought I was so busy. Well, that's not acceptable. And so that's when I started making the commitment to be 10 minutes early, and I will wait 20 minutes. If I'm on a conference call and somebody doesn't show up, I'm going to wait for 20 minutes. I'll put it on speakerphone. I'll keep on working, but I will wait. I'm not going to chase people down. It's on your calendar. It's on my calendar. You can apologize. You can meet me at Starbucks and you want to tell me your story, and I'll listen for 2 minutes. I'll go. Because see, I've taken thank you notes. I've taken magazine articles. I'm busy. I'm ready to do whatever it is we're here to do. And if Sherry walks in and she's crying, I know that whatever is on the agenda is off the agenda, and I'm going to be focused, and I'm going to totally junk the agenda.
Sure.
But otherwise, if she wants to tell me her story, I'll say, honey, it's okay. I'm glad that's never happened to me. Are you ready to move ahead?
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to wallow in feeling bad. She says, I feel so bad. Sherry, if it makes you feel bad, if it makes you feel good to feel bad, go ahead. But let's instead get back to what we said we were going to do today. And it lets her off the hook gently with a little bit of humor. It's not like, how dare you? I'm not going there. I am responsible for what's going on up here. And whatever the agenda is on the meeting, I got to have myself mentally prepared to do it.
And you teach people how to treat you, and one of the things I learned from you the very first time I met you is the integrity based. That's a hard thing to teach people.
Yeah.
But you need to assume, like you said, I'll wait for 20 minutes or whatever, that they feel the same. They probably don't, but always assume that, I'm sure something is wrong if you didn't show up.
Now, I will admit that occasionally, and this is not manipulative, but if it happens to you, you'll know this comes from my heart. If I know that you like caramel macchiatos, and you're not there and I am, if you're not there and I am, I may go ahead and order it for you for a meeting at Starbucks. Or I may call you and say, last time we were together, you were really onto the caramel macchiato. I am standing in line. May I order you one? Well, that's a way for Peter to say, oh, I'm so glad you called. I can't believe this. I left. You can't say I left my cell phone. I just called him. But you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I don't have your phone number with me. You've disappeared from my database. Has that ever happened to you? All of a sudden you're looking for a phone number and you know it was there.
Yeah.
So, but I don't do that to check on people.
Right.
But I will
Well,
occasionally.
it also shows that you've been paying attention, as you
Right,
just
right.
said. You paid attention to what somebody liked.
I try to pay attention. So that is it. That's the fasten your seatbelt
That's
version
amazing.
of integrity-based communications. Tell your truth quicker, faster, and ask for what you want. Those two things will allow people to see your truth, and it really gives them permission to tell their truth. It's like the more vulnerable you are willing to be, the more risk-taking you are willing to be, the more likely they're going to follow that lead and go, whoa, I like this. And people have said to me so many times, I love how direct you are. I mean, there's no beating around the bush.
That's right.
No
No gray area.
And because I never come from, I'm better than you are. It's
Right.
it's not pretentious. It's not overbearing. It's just
Right.
let's just not waste time.
Exactly.
So that allows people to know me better. And you know what? I've gotten to the point where if you don't like me for who I am, it's better for me to know that than to wonder what personality was I with him? What did I say? What do I have to remember? If what you see is what you get, that's always what you're going to get, and I don't have to remember how I acted or what I said. If it's my truth, that's what I told yesterday, today, and will tell again tomorrow. And when I change my mind, I'll say, I used to say, tell the truth. Until I had the experience of the neighbor whose little 8-year-old was in a group of young boys who broke a pickle jar. How many versions of the truth do you think there were about the broken pickle jar?
7.
At least 8. So we can only be responsible for our version of the truth. And sometimes hearing how Dana's version, Doris's version is different than mine. That's Dana, this is Doris. How Doris's version is different from my version may help me shift a little, go, I see your point on that. That I'm gonna see what I can do to adjust how I express that. Again, I'm smart, everybody here is smart, but collectively, wow, there's no stopping.
Yeah.
So I allow you to get to know me better. I allow you to get to like me better because I demonstrate that I genuinely care for you and what's important to you. And then ultimately, I will demonstrate to you repeatedly that you can count on me. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. Technology notwithstanding. Technology is my friend. That's my truth.
Yes.
And that is what will build the high trust relationships that will make people want to be your friend, make people want to share their spheres of influence with you, elevate you so that you can go where you want to go.
How do you overcome
Very good.
understanding with that quicker, faster truth? For instance, me being in the technology industry as well, if I'm talking about SMS, SMO, SEO, MMS, that just went over a lot of folks' head. And I'm trying to give them the quickest truth possible, quicker, faster truth. But at some point in time, I have to make sure that there's a understanding of what I'm talking about.
That's right, because at some point you can say, it sounds like I'm using a lot of initials and acronyms. And I'll be happy to spell out that SEO is search engine optimization. But what I'm trying to do is convey a lot of information. It's going to be like the water out of the fire hydrant. If you want to stop and take a slow sip, just stop me. So it's a way of respecting Or you can say, it's often at this point in the conversation that eyes start to glaze over. So I'm just going to stop and ask if you have any questions. That's another thing about body language. If you're sitting around a table like this and arms start being crossed, you have just probably lost the people that cross their arms unless the air conditioning has just gone on. Remember, you've got to be processing a lot of information. And if it is freezing, you go, yeah, it is chilly in here, isn't it? Then you're letting them know that you're acknowledging that. You're constantly monitoring what's going on in the room. But if it's not the air conditioning and they cross their arms, that's your cue to say, it's often at this point in the presentation that people have questions. So let me just stop for a minute and see if I can address whatever questions are in the room before we move ahead. Whoa, all of a sudden they can relax, they can ask their question, but otherwise you blast ahead and there is a tension between honoring time constraints and paying attention. I will be doing a lot less in our 2 hours together than I would do in 4 hours, let's face it.
Sure.
But to just acknowledge that this is something that may be creating concern because of the acronyms and the initials and the Secret Service, So it's a very good question, Peter.
Yes, it is.
I think one thing that's really hard when you are involved with people all the time is it is hard to think that if you do have integrity that somebody is not going to like you, but often we don't. Not everybody loves us.
No, say it.
They do.
One thing that I take away from what you say is that I think you do have so much, that you do come so from the heart, that I think it wouldn't really bother you if somebody didn't like you. I don't think you would take it personally.
I don't take it personally. And it's not that I blow it off,
Right,
but I
right.
go, we're seldom.
That's a hard thing to teach somebody.
It is because it took me years. I mean, if you've read even the first 2 chapters of my book, you know my story. And I didn't come from integrity. I lived most of my life by default. I took what came along. He was handsome. He was smart. He asked me to marry him. I said yes. I did that twice before I was in the place where I came from integrity. I knew what I wanted. I knew what my values were. I said to my now husband, with whom I celebrated 12 years of marriage Sunday, same anniversary day as Sherry and Richard, I said, getting married again is not a goal of mine. I said that on our first date. And he said, well, I'm not in a hurry to do anything. 7 months later, we were married.
Oh my goodness.
But the first night, we talked about stuff you never talk about on the first date. I left the next morning to go to the Bahamas with a girlfriend. She said, so how'd the date go? Because I hadn't been out on a date in years. And I said, well, he either really, really likes me or he's crazy. I said, because we covered stuff. We covered our marriages and what we learned. And
Does he have a brother? I'm available.
Unfortunately, he's married, and that would be out of integrity.
There we go.
But instead of fearing speaking my truth, is like I just put it out there. We're gonna, this is not something I'm seeking. And you know what? He absolutely stole my heart. That first date, he gave me a hug and then he snatched a kiss as he ran off to his car. It's like, what? I said I could see him just sitting in his car going, yes! Anyway.
Sounds like he was a gentleman, though.
Oh, he is a gentleman. And to this
Sounds
day.
like my husband when we first got together.
It is an amazing thing to be married to your
What
best friend.
motivated your change? You said that it took you for a while. What motivated you?
It's
Because
interesting.
it's such a stubborn thing, I think, for us to accommodate others, and it's really hard once you've gotten in a cycle of that. And I'm 45, and I'm like,
Well, I'm going
I'm
to tell
still
you what
that
happened
way.
because it's the perfect segue to the next section, which is values clarification. My husband has a doctorate in music, theory and composition. How can you say over my head? He is in an academic environment. He teaches at the University of Memphis. I'm teaching living on purpose all over North America. And I'm excited about what I do. I know what my life mission is. I know what my life purpose is. We're not going to be able to cover those things today, but I'll tell you, my purpose is to experience divine connection. in every single person, with
Yes,
every
Yeah,
single
that's
exchange.
absolutely.
And I don't necessarily always use the word divine, but I know I am.
That's right.
And my mission is to inspire people to live on purpose and realize their potential. So it's not that I can be a facilitator, I can be a teacher, but if I can light a fire in you that says, yes, I can be more. Yes, I
Yes.
can have more. Yes, I can do more. That's my job, is to be the catalyst for the light that's already in you.
Yes.
So if I can inspire you to go, this has been working for me, but I can see where this could set me free.
Well, and I think, except for Lois and maybe, I don't know, you with people, women, including you, Peter, that are.
Are you?
Yeah, you're one of us, Peter.
That-
So I guess that's a good thing.
you know, that you are looking for that, you know, that thing that does, that lights your fire, or that does, you know, several of the words that you've used, you know, is just very connecting, and it's something that we all search for. It's not the
And
paycheck.
It's not. The paycheck is the byproduct.
Mhm.
What
Absolutely.
leaves the heart reaches the heart. So back to your question, Pam. John was very excited about, I mean, he was just fascinated. He'd never done this kind of work before. He said, I would love to go through this workshop you do. I said, well, what if I set it up so that somebody else facilitated it? And that's what we did. And he and I went through this values clarification exercise. Integrity-based communications is my material. It was based on the principles, the 5 points of personal power from Life Design, but it morphed into integrity-based communications. But the values clarification came from this Humans Being More training that I was doing all over North America. And I still use exactly the same process with permission. And what it does is I'm going to give you a handout, and I'm going to ask you to set it up with a particular relationship. And this is answering your question, because when John and I did this exercise, it was scary because, I mean, I know how it's supposed to work. And we were using different words in terms of what was important in our relationship. But when we made meaning of the words, harmony may have been the word he used, peace of mind may have been the word I used, or the phrase that I used. But when we got to the meaning, we were talking about the same thing. So have you ever experienced being separated by a common language?
Yeah.
And you say, oh, you know, well, I mean, come on, there's a male in the room. Do we have different definitions for intimacy, possibly? Okay, so this stuff works from the bedroom to the boardroom.
Okay.
So I'm just going to leave it at that. And Peter, when we say you're one of us, that is the highest praise you can get. When I said to my husband, you are more like a woman than any man I've ever known. And he knew to say, thank you. I get what a compliment
I'll
that
tell
is.
Peter that's the first time I met him.
But see, the you know,
It's the emotional connection, that
It
being
is.
intuitive,
And
lots of
it's
things that women have that some men do not have.
Right.
But the very fact that a John Bauer or a Peter Nathan can say, I get that,
Absolutely.
shows there's this comfort in their skin
Yes.
that they can accept him as a compliment and
That's
go on.
right. That's
So
right.
what leaves the
Absolutely.
heart reaches the heart, and that's my premise. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, while we're passing this out, think of a relationship that you'd like to work with consistently in this exercise. The relationship may be with yourself. The relationship may be with your romantic partner. The relationship may be with God. It's entirely up to you. And I'm going to pass it out. Remember I said that people do things for their reasons, not our reasons? Okay. So what I want you to do is answer the question, what's most important to me in my relationship with fill in the blank? What's most important to me in my relationship with fill in the blank? Now look how many words there are on the page. And you only get 6 of them. So what I suggest is that you put dots besides the ones that are important with this relationship that you're filling in the blank. Don't circle 6, or you're going to end up with 6 circled and it's going to be a mess. Just put little dots as you start. And I'm going to pass these
Let me
both
ask you a
ways.
question. Is this available to those who are watching virtually? Is this something that we would upload, or is this something they need to call you and get personal consultation for?
I would prefer that they call and get a personal consultation or send an email, Shelley@ShelleyBauer.com.
So for the viewers, would you leave them your
Yes.
contact information?
Shelley, SHELLEY at ShelleyBauer, BAUR.com. And also for the benefit of the people who are viewing, everybody in the room has seen Integrity Based Communications. It's my book. If you want to download the first 2 chapters of the book for free, you can go to www.ShelleyBauer.com or my blog site, which is www.integritybasedcommunications.com, and it will allow you to download the first 2 chapters for free.
So how much is that book?
$12.95.
It's being passed around the room. It's on you.
Oh.
Did you also want to show our virtual viewers?
Oh, thank you, Sherry. You're so good. I was bragging about Lois earlier because she stayed up all night to get these done. These are the 3 modules in a fuller entirety. Not exactly what you're seeing today, but more of it. And it's on all 3 modules: integrity-based communications, values clarification, and living a balanced life. So those are also available. They're not on the site yet. I tangibly have them today,
Yes.
but they will be available online within a couple of days. So.
Couple more things, little housekeeping things, especially for the viewers and also for the people here. Would you tell us about the upcoming blog session that you have that you would like to invite people to
Yes,
attend?
thank you, Sherry. Gosh, you are so good connecting people. I'm doing a how-to workshop on Blogging Basics 101, and it's next Wednesday, December 7th, from 8:30 to 9:30. We're going to demystify some of those terms that Peter was just using: SEO for search engine optimization, and keyword research, and how to write dynamic copy, and how to get people to come to you as an expert because you are giving them content in the way they are searching for it. You know, over 90% of the people are now researching online before they make a buying decision. So you want to make yourself found. And I'll give you an example about keyword research. I was going to write a blog post on mindset. People weren't looking for mindset. So I'm going, okay, so how might they be looking for getting your mind in the right place to be self-disciplined? What they were searching for was power of the subconscious. So you've got to talk in a way that people are searching. Otherwise, they're not going to find you.
December what?
It's December 7th, Wednesday, December 7th, from 8:30 to 11:30.
And is it here?
It is in town. It's not here. It's at the Holiday Inn University of Memphis.
Now, is that open to everyone?
It is.
Or is it,
It is.
How much is the?
It's $97. But you will get 3 hours of content that will absolutely whet your appetite and let you see how important it is to move to a pull marketing where people are seeking you as opposed to an intrusive push marketing where you want to turn off the TV and you want to unfortunately say do not call or do not text or whatever, but it's getting them to the point where they want you to send a newsletter or they want you to send them a text. And it's called pull marketing instead of push marketing. It's a
That's nice.
content
Full marketing.
content management system that is supported by social media and all the things that Sherry's teaching us. So
One more thing before you move forward. Would you tell all of us and the viewers what we can expect with your 4-hour session that you will be actually hosting? It will be your event. You'll be doing it here next year. And there's a cost involved, but it's going to be intensive when it comes to extensive when it comes to this.
Well, I'm not going to actually promote it right now, and I'll tell you why. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like yet.
Okay,
Thank
but
you
it's
for
coming.
giving. It is coming in January. There
Okay.
will be. What I'd really like to do, my heart's desire, is to actually put on the 2-day workshop, so that when you walk away at the end of the second day, you have a written life mission and purpose statement based on what has come out of you. I mean, you're the one who has the answers. My job is to just be a facilitator.
Oh, we need to make that happen. So we'll get together,
great.
and that will
Thank
be
you.
your event.
Thank you.
You'll set all the parameters.
Good. Thank you very much for all these opportunities. Now I need to speed ahead so that we can cover this. Has everybody already decided on the relationship that they want to work with? It's really important to have a name filled in, my relationship with. And I don't see one on your page.
Should
And
this
you
be
need-
someone you have a great relationship with already, or someone you want to work on?
That's
the
entirely up to
relationship?
you. And here's what you're looking for. What's most important to me in my relationship with blank could be different with me than it is with Richard. In fact, it probably is. That's why you need to know who you're working with, because that becomes the test. You might say, well, you know, integrity is important with everybody. Is integrity even on the list? I don't know that it is. Could I get the
No,
list?
it's not.
Okay, so that's a classic example of if there's something that you want to make sure is in the relationship, add it to the list. The list is here to serve you, not for you to be a slave to it. It was just to give you suggestions. So let me get the leftovers here so that I've got a little crib sheet. But what you're going to ask yourself is, what's most important to me to have in this relationship? And if it doesn't exist, it's really important that it be in the relationship. This is an opportunity for me to get some clarity and communicate to this person how important this is to me. It could
So
be
we
something
choose
that's already
six. Because I was thinking ahead of what I'd like
Right.
you to promote, so I want to make sure I got this correct. So I need 6 words on here.
6
right?
words. So I suggested starting with dots because you're probably going to end up with more than 6, and then go back and circle 6 that you think are the most important. It may be something that already exists in the relationship and you want to make sure it always exists. For instance, commitment might be one of those words if it's with a romantic partner.
Is this something we're wanting from them or something we are going to give to them?
You want it to be present in the relationship. So
Okay.
it probably means if it's a partnership, it's going to be both ways. And if you haven't talked about it before, this was the gift with John and me. By the time the pastor sat down with us when we were getting married in 24 hours, she said, "What are you going to do about the money?" And we looked at each other and we looked back at her and said, "We haven't talked about it." She said, "You got 24 hours. Now, see, that was one of the things that was absent. A healthy discussion about money was absent in my 2 previous marriages. It was absent in his previous marriage. It was the greatest gift she gave us, was to force our hands and make us talk about something that has served us again and again and again.
So you would call it financial communication.
Whatever you want to call it,
I would call
whatever it
that.
means to you. Maybe financial peace.
Peace is good.
Man, we are really
How much
running
time do we
out of
have?
time. Oh, we have very little time because we
Okay.
still have to do living a balanced life. All right, so what you're going to do is circle now the 6 words that are the most important to you in that particular relationship. I messed up, I didn't bring a flip chart. So I need a volunteer from the audience who is willing to come up here with me, and we're going to use this makeshift flip chart. Will you do it? Okay,
Yes.
Doris. So Doris, who is the relationship that we're
Oh,
working with?
gosh.
Doris with
God.
God. That's great. And what are the 6 most important values in your relationship with God?
Committed. Connected.
Committed, connected,
Genuine.
genuine,
Passion
passion,
for life.
passion for life,
Peace of mind.
peace of mind.
Spiritual.
You've got one more.
And understanding.
Well, no, you can't have spiritual and understanding. You can only have 6. So you're going to have to cross one off.
Okay. Giving. No, let me say grateful.
Okay, now you have 8 words. So what are you going to give up?
Cross off the spiritual, because I think I got that. And the understanding.
Okay, so here are Doris's 6 words that are most important to her to exist in her relationship with God. It's committed, connected, genuine, passion for life, peace of mind, and grateful. So stand back up. This is how you're gonna be doing this in dyad with each other. Okay? So I'm gonna demonstrate for you what you're gonna be doing with each other. You're gonna swap sheets of paper. So be scanning the room and deciding who you wanna be really vulnerable with. In your relationship with God, Doris, what's more important, committed or connected?
Connected.
Connected. In your relationship with God, Doris, what's more important, connected or genuine?
Genuine.
In your relationship, see, I'm changing the dots as we go. As she changes her mind, I'm changing the dots so that I know to keep on testing that against the other words. In your relationship with God, what's more important, genuine or passion for life?
Genuine.
In your relationship with God, Doris, what's more important, genuine or peace of mind?
Peace of mind.
In your relationship, I'm changing that now to a straight line so I can keep up with where we are. In your relationship with God, what's more important, peace of mind or grateful?
Peace of mind.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, peace of mind or committed?
Peace of mind.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, peace of mind or connected?
Peace of mind.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, peace of mind or passion?
Peace of mind.
Okay, so that becomes number one. I don't have to compare peace of mind anymore. It is now number one. So now I'm going to go on down the list, and I'm just going to keep on going. In your relationship with God, what's more important, grateful or committed?
Committed.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, committed or connected?
Connected.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, connected or genuine?
Genuine.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, genuine or passion for life?
Genuine.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, genuine or grateful?
Genuine.
Okay, so genuine becomes number two. See, what we're doing is we're creating a hierarchy. You will notice, possibly, that people will change their mind. You just stand back. You don't have any judgment about it. You're just, remember, you're Teflon. It just rolls off of you. Because they are processing out loud. It's not just the words, it's what's going on in their minds as they are choosing these words. Okay, in your relationship with God, what's more important, committed or connected?
Committed.
Committed. In your relationship with God, what's more important, committed or passion for life?
Passion for life.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, passion for life or grateful?
Passion for life.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, passion for life or committed?
Passion for life.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, passion for life or connected?
Passion for life.
And see, the reason I compared it again is because she could have changed it. So until you get to that last word, testing it, so we now have number one is peace of mind, number two is genuine, number three is passion for life. Okay. In your relationship with God, what's more important, committed or connected?
Committed.
In your relationship with God, what's more important, committed or grateful?
Committed.
Okay, so committed becomes number four. In your relationship with God, let's guess. What's more important, connected or grateful?
Connected.
I knew it was connected. That's number five. And then what's left over is grateful, which is number six. Now,
You get all those others, you're grateful,
Yeah.
I guess.
And so what would happen is, if they've circled the 6 words on their sheet, which is what we've asked them to do, Doris didn't, but that's okay because she's got this one. She could actually swap sheets with each other, and you're going to walk each other through. And we're going to have to do this in a hurry because we still have Living a Balanced Life to do. So what I want you to do is get together with a partner and run through this as quickly as you can. We're going to make meaning of this, even if we don't get to do Living a Balanced Life. I don't want you to walk away without the exercise. So up on your feet, somebody's going to have to move to get partners together.
Let's do it.
Okay.
See if I can do this.
In your relationship with
When you
God.
circle your 6 words.
Me do you first?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That's what everyone calls it.
What's more
Okay,
important?
who's Marshall?
Honest.
Okay.
Oh, once I have 3 dots, so you're
Okay.
6.
All right.
Your relationship with God, what's more important, honest or
In your
proud?
relationship with Marshall, what is most
Okay,
important?
that's fine.
Affectionate, generous, kind, optimistic, tender,
What's more
or thoughtful?
important, honest or supportive?
We do this.
What's more important,
Yeah, I think so.
support or
Maybe I
understanding.
should be first.
Yeah, you go first.
What's more important, support or youthful?
Relationship with your mother, what's more important, accepted or
Okay,
accepting?
is what's more important, support or
Acceptance.
So which is
honesty?
confident women support
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, because I hate being in.
Okay, what's more important, support or intimate?
Yeah, like you
Or
mean like
freedom.
we
Okay, what's more important, support or proud of self?
those are the same.
Well, you already made
Yeah.
one, so
Okay,
there's another.
so honest
Or
was the
is it
second,
Accepting.
honest or intimate?
Honest.
Okay, what's more important, honest or proud of self?
It just seems like those three can
What's more important, honest or understanding? More important, honest or youthful?
Go ahead, go through the exercise.
Okay, in your relationship with Bull, what's more important, intimate or proud of self?
Alright, which one?
Alright, what's more important, proud of self or understanding? What's more important, proud of self or youthful?
Write it down so I can do it like she said, decisive, because decisive is immediate.
Okay, what's more important, intimate or understanding?
And decisive
So-
focus.
Alright, what's more important, understanding or youthful?
Because it came ahead of all these others.
Okay,
Okay.
what's more important, intimate or youthful?
Okay, the relationship with your mother is more important.
This is better than an icebreaker.
Much
better.
Yeah.
Number 5.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Acceptance.
Can take it.
Yeah, I'm easy to figure out.
Jennifer's my daughter, by the way.
Ah,
You know, and I think at different times in your life, if things changes with what you're.
Because when I was thinking about it, because, you know, like, the proud self goes both ways, because we're both, like,
We do.
kind of the same boat when
Not
it
the
comes to
question.
being, like,
No.
confident and,
Down
not
to
in
earth.
each other, but, you know, like, when it comes to,
Interaction.
you know, ourselves.
so that's
for
what
sure.
we're working on.
And youthful, well, he's 30 years old, okay? He acts like a kid, but when you try to, when I try to play with him.
So is support of each other
And times with free input.
Connected.
and understanding is understanding of each other?
Like, sometimes she doesn't understand. Alright,
That was fast, huh? No fun at it.
To work or whatnot, like, you know, like, between you and this or this.
Okay, in your relationship with,
Because he's the one that is like, you know, begging
What
me
is
to quit
more
my
important?
job that I was in, because I was getting to my place was sick because of it.
Is the proud of self more for you or is it more for him to
That would be a
be
learn
proud
when
of
you say
you?
it twice. I
Both
think
ways.
in your relationship
In your
with
relationship
what's more important, being sincere or understanding.
And honest would be for y'all to be honest with each
what
other.
is more important to you?
Are y'all honest?
Yeah, we're honest with each other for the most part. It's just there's
One
times
that we want.
because of what I've dealt with growing up that I'm always afraid to say certain things.
You're guarded.
Yeah, I'm guarded.
Jaded.
Went back to marking
I'm
those dots.
jaded. I'm not-
I would start the next
So,
one.
now
right?
you're gonna say.
Genuine.
Has everybody
Okay.
got
or the
their
next word.
In
their
a
hierarchy done?
relationship with
Okay.
someone,
She stepped out, but we were down to the
Um,
last,
what's more
we were on the
important,
last
being
3.
genuine
Okay,
or
let me do
honest?
it with you real quick because we got to move ahead.
No, it's hers, not mine. Mine's done.
Okay, so that would be,
Is it
this would be
more
number
important to
1, right?
Because my thing is, in a way, the youthful and the intimate kind of goes line in line with each other. Because if he would be
to be kind,
like, you know, playful, like playful,
Okay.
it would, you know, because when I try, you know, he always picks on me, so I pick back, and then you go from picking to playing to him like, oh, I'm so old, and starts coughing, and no, he's 38, I'm 27. I mean, you know, he's like an old man when it comes to that point. I'm like,
Did Sherry tell you that?
So I had asked her first, which is really important. She got guys here, then in between those
To
two.
me, it was.
That's fine.
Well, you keep comparing them until one of them wins.
Okay.
Just go on.
Okay, so now you go back to
Connected.
connected. What's more important, connected or honest?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Don't know what
What's more important,
You know,
connected
just
or
like,
involved?
just like I
I mean, I think
scratched
What's
out
more
my
important,
point,
connected or
decisive
sincere?
kind of leads to that. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of
What's
leads
more
to, it's
important,
kind
connected
of
or
overlapping.
Yeah,
understanding?
there's a lot of gray.
Exactly. Exactly. Cause it's a lot more to the chose than what you said.
Right.
You gotta start now comparing understanding to everything else. What's more important, understanding or connecting? What's more important, understanding or
That's
honesty?
always in my top three. Cause
more
this
important,
leads to that,
honesty,
and this leads to
Okay,
that.
two.
Or, you know,
So you just
productive
leave,
together.
you compare the ones that are left.
Okay.
More focused.
Alright, okay.
All right, we gotta speed it up,
Your
y'all.
relationship with John Jennifer, what's more important, being connected or being honest?
How many people have at least three values that they've come up with, 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, and 3.
No, why don't she and I do this after?
No, go ahead and do 3 because I want to move us together ahead.
I'm sorry,
So I
what
think
was
it's
the question?
You've got it.
Oh, okay.
You've already got your 6.
So now I think.
In a hierarchy, they got a little bit behind.
Connected and
Yeah,
involved.
but you should have 6.
I thought I did.
I don't know, because the way mines are lined up, it kind of like interlinks with each other. That's, you know.
Oh, see, I couldn't sort that out as much as she did for me. She said I couldn't have spiritual.
She couldn't have 6. She had 8.
No, you said I couldn't have,
What's more important, being connected or honest?
two of them kind of sounded the
Okay,
same.
can you make, can
And
you
then
cut that out?
honest and sincere, just more
Now, if you
important.
got 3, if you got 3.
My thing is,
We're gonna move ahead now.
there might be more. And,
She hadn't done mine.
you know, see how it kind of links.
Well, I am gonna, okay, I'm gonna let you guys finish doing everything else, otherwise we won't get
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we're gonna work with the top 3, and here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna take those top 3, and you're gonna make meaning of those values. So for instance, I used myself with John, and I said my number 1 value in my relationship with you is integrity. And I know I'm experiencing it when you do what you say you will do. So you have some work to do alone. You don't even have to write it down. You're just going to do it. It's kind of like a table topic, Peter. You do it as you go. And then your partner repeats back to you your number 1 relationship with whoever it is integrity. In this case, John would say your number 1 value in your relationship with me is integrity, and you know you're experiencing it when I do what I say I will do. So it's verbatim. You're not paraphrasing it. You're not making judgments. You're not changing the words. And the reason is it's important for the person to know that they have been heard, but also sometimes when they say it out loud and you repeat it back, they may say, you know, that is what I said. But I realize now that I'm hearing it repeated back, that's not what I meant. What I really meant is, and you give them permission to change their mind. But you are there to be a mirror. A mirror. Okay, so you're going to go through the top 3 values. We won't have time to do more. The top 3 values and define what it is. My number 3 relationship in my relationship with God, for instance, is
Do I need to go in a closet?
passion for life. And I know I'm experiencing it when. What would that be?
Well, my number 1 was peace of mind.
No, I know, but
Oh, okay.
we're going to start with number 3 and move on.
Oh, okay.
All right, you're going to do it with Lois.
Okay.
All right, but this, we're really going to have to pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. You want me to just hold this so you guys can look up here and it can be a cheat sheet for you? All right.
So,
So get with your
Okay.
partner, and you're just going to do the top 3 values, and you're going to make meaning. Behaviorally, what does that look like to you? So, Shira, you asked earlier, is it what they do or what I do? It's what you want to have present in the relationship. So, if integrity looks like when you tell me you're going to do something, you do it, then that's in the relationship. It really is 2 people
Right.
co-partnering.
your number
Right.
3 is.
Number 3 first.
First, the value
Proud of
giver
self.
says it, and then the second person repeats it back.
Okay, you say my number 1. My number 3.
My number 3 value is blank, and I know
Proud
I'm
of self.
experiencing it in my relationship with God or myself or my partner or whatever when blank happens.
Number 3 value is proud of self, and I know I'm experiencing it when
He does.
Or when you do what?
Okay. When I stop doubting myself.
And then your number 2 value.
No, you gotta repeat it back to me.
Oh, so your number 3 value is proud of self, and you know that you're experiencing it when
I don't know.
You are not doubting yourself.
Oh, you wrote it down.
That's kind of like just to go.
Yeah, actually, you
Okay.
said stop doubting yourself.
Yeah, when
You
I
stop doubting yourself.
Mine is connected.
Verbatim.
Accepting.
number
Two. Is honest.
okay. My number 2 value is honest, and I know I'm experienced it when I don't feel guarded and I can just say whatever it is at the top of my brain.
You ready?
Okay, your number
You ready
2
to go
value
first?
is honest.
Sure.
You
I
know
don't
you're
know how to do
experiencing
this.
it when you
Stumble through it. I think you're gonna say my number 3 value is
stop
Number
doubt,
3.
when
Well, I
you
started
stop
with
being
number 1,
guarded
so I
and you're
remember
able
that.
to say what you need to say.
teachers watching. You better do it right.
However you want to do it is fine with me.
My number
Number
1
1
value
value
is
is support,
respect, and I know I'm experiencing it when you support my
when I feel
dreams,
good
goals,
about my
and
decision
accomplishments,
of
physically
starting my
and
business.
emotionally.
So your number 1 value
Your
is
number 1 value is respect.
support, and you know you're experiencing it when you stop.
Is
When
and then you are experiencing it
When you support your decisions and you make you feel good about starting your own
whether she
business.
agrees with it or not, when she supports the accomplishments,
All right,
dreams,
my
and
number
goals,
3
either emotionally,
value is
physically,
passion
of being
for life.
present, or just emotionally.
I'm experiencing it. Get out of the bed.
Your number 3 value.
I think so too. Let's do yours.
Passion for life and know you're
Okay,
experiencing
number
it.
1.
When you're able to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure.
All right.
Should have written.
Number 2
You wanna write
is
it
genuine.
Oh,
My number 2 value is genuine, and I know I'm experiencing it when I don't have conflict within myself.
Like I have to say that, and you can say what I'm saying back to you, basically.
When I don't have doubt.
And then I have to say
Conflict
back
with
exactly what you say.
And then my number 1 value is peace of mind, and I know I'm experiencing it when
You're using the other words.
peace of mind.
You will tell me what your number 1 value is. And then I can
Your number 1 value is peace of mind and self-experiencing it when you can take yourself
Okay. All right. So, are we done with that? Okay. Not a real good student.
Yes, you are. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is pass these down. We're not gonna
Scratch that up.
This is awesome practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be away from values. This is gonna be
For real.
Okay.
Man.
We're gonna pass these down.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I need one more.
okay.
Thank you.
And what you do, I put my number 1 with myself.
How long has John been at Memphis?
I know,
30 years. 30 years.
Hey, Dora.
I see.
So how old are you? Okay, so what I've just passed out is the moving away from values. Psychologists say that we do things for one of 2 reasons: to gain pleasure and to avoid pain. That sounds very simplistic, but stop and think about it. We're either doing it because we really, really want it, or because we really, really don't want it. And remember I said earlier I lived by default? For many, many years I'd say not this, not that, not this, not that, until I could finally get clear about what I wanted. Because we cannot simultaneously move toward our goals and away from our goals at the same time. It's impossible. So what I'm here for when I talk about inspiring is for you to get that goal in mind, whether it's a relationship goal or a business goal, so that you can move toward achieving it, as opposed to saying, well, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. Instead, use that same energy to get what you really want, instead of trying. Because the truth of the matter is, when you put out energy I don't want, you're still attracting it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we dwell upon grows, and so if we dwell on negativity, the negativity will grow. If we dwell on positivity, the positivity will grow. So we're not going to work on this value because we're out of time, but you now know the process. You're going to say, and even when I do it in a 2-day class, I only have you circle 6 but work on 1, because usually you can look at those 6 moving away from values and go, the number one thing I most want to avoid in my relationship with whatever the value is. In the case of God, it would be abandonment for me. You know, I mean, I get that right away. So, how did you like making meaning of your values?
This is great.
That's a
good
good
Excellent.
exercise.
Excellent.
I want to do more of it.
And you have my permission to invite a partner to come back with you, or to, if you want to get the DVDs, this is not a salesy thing, but if you want them to be able to take it home, and it gives you time to stop and process it and then start it again, so that you're not as rushed as we are today. Remember, usually each of these modules is an hour to do, so we're really compressed for time. And we're going to move ahead with living a balanced life unless you have a question that you want to answer, that you want me to answer. Or try.
My arms weren't folded.
They weren't? Okay. Well, I am a big proponent of, see me with longer hair? No, none of you knew me when I had longer hair. There's an article that was done in Women's News in the Mid-South years and years ago. And the one thing I added, back then I only had 8 life domains that I worked with. When I started doing a lot of work with FedEx and their sales superstars, they asked me to add the career domain, because money and career are distinct for some people. And let's face it, in FedEx, climbing, I'm not passing that around, that's just my copy. Climbing the career ladder. Sure. Climbing the career ladder, you know, is a real important thing. And what they wanted me to do is early in their young, aggressive careers, introduce the idea of balance, you know, that it's not all about work, work, work. And boy, the vice presidents can certainly say an amen to that. So what I'm going to do is pass these around.
Have you ever been on Oprah?
I have not. And I won't, because she doesn't do that show anymore.
Well,
And here's an Ameriprise thing right in the middle of the handout. What are those doing here? So what we're going to do is, again, fasten your seatbelts, and we're going to take a look at these 9 different life domains. And I need one back because I always do it with you. Thank you. Thank you. And what you do is you put your name in the center of this life domains tool. I'm going to hold it up so the viewing audience can see it. And you're going to be looking at body, mind, spirituality, romance, family, community, money, career, and play. And I'm only going to give you an example of 3 of them. I'm not going to go through each, because everybody, again, makes meaning of what each of these domains represents. But in the body domain, let's just talk about it from the way a doctor would look at it. What are some of the things that you would be looking at to be able to determine whether you're living a balanced life in the body domain? Health, weight, energy, exercise, water, food, nutrients,
Yes. Thank you.
sleep, restful sleep.
Yes,
So-
restful sleep.
So let me say I start over here as a couch potato. I mean, I have seriously put on some weight, and it's time to get it off, and I know
You look
that,
great.
thank you, that I'm putting myself in jeopardy by not taking care of my body. And so I go, okay, I'm going to stop eating sweets, and I'm going to give up flour. I'm going to get on the Dr. Gott diet. I'm going to start exercising, and boy, I just really start getting into this, and all of a sudden, I'm exercising 4 hours a day. My husband is not getting the attention he's accustomed to having. My business is suffering. Have I gone from one extreme to the next? So
Yes.
balance is about being somewhere in the comfort zone, the
That's
sweet
my
spot,
biggest
if you will.
problem.
Okay. So the body domain, we use that example. In the mind domain, I'm actually asking you to look at 2 things. Mind as in mental health, but also mind is in feeding your mind. What are you doing to stretch and grow and
Mhm.
continue to let those dendrites
Mhm.
connect?
Mhm.
And my mom is now in assisted living, but I'll tell you, she'll play Scrabble every time she gets a chance. And she's a former teacher, and oh man, she just really, she knows how important it is to keep her mind active. So those are the things I would ask you to look for in the mind domain. And then I want to talk about, is anybody in here single? Okay, this is a good one. Remember, when I started this work, I was single. I was happily single. I knew that I wasn't going to repeat. I won't call them mistakes. They were high growth learning opportunities. But I wasn't going to go back and do that again. And here's what I said to the young 19-year-old Russian pianist who ultimately introduced me to my husband. I said, Russ, I may be alone for the rest of my life. That is not my heart's desire. But that may be what's in the plan for me. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to enjoy the company. What that meant was I had to learn to like me, to love me, to respect me, and
That's
to
right.
never again settle for less than. I'm not
That's
blaming
right.
anybody except it was my choice to get in those
That's-
marriages that didn't
right.
work. I hadn't done the values clarification.
Mhm.
I did not know how to tell my truth quicker, faster, or any of those 6 behaviors of integrity-based communications with consistency. So this is a recovering person who, by the time I met John Bauer, these tools were in place. They were part of my toolkit. They were part of my DNA.
Mhm.
So in romance then, romance may be number 9 on your list because you're going, that's a low priority. But as we go through the exercise, you may see that you're very perfectly happy about being. Romance to you behaviorally may be taking a bubble bath and lighting candles. See,
Okay.
yeah, and shift that perspective. And it's not necessarily about being in a committed relationship married with 2 kids and a dog. So anyway, the first part of this exercise is to rank 1 through 9, no ties. I don't care how you rank it. That's entirely up to you. It's nobody's business. But number 1, one of the ways people look at it is how am I spending my energy? Remember, not necessarily energy. I mean, whether it's negative or positive, that may be what's getting your attention so it becomes number 1. Or it may be how you're spending your money. But you forced rank. I would always do spirituality number 1, romance number 9, and then fill in the blanks in between. So those are just some suggestions of how I've done it. But quickly,
She just
rank
do
So
it
this
one,
is-
1 through 9.
1
No
through 9.
This is
percentages.
no
how
percentages.
this is how we're doing it now, or how
Right?
we want it to
No.
be.
Today, this is a snapshot of where you are today. Very good question, Doris. Where are you now? Or as I put on the flip chart, how balanced are you today?
Mm. Mhm.
I can't have an 8.5.
Well, I'm not looking, but that's not the rules the way I set them up.
That was a good Toastmaster answer there too.
So I heard someone say it's hard.
Well, they keep changing.
Because you're just ranking where you think you're at today, right?
What is the perfect balance? Is there a
Well,
perfect balance?
there are 2 more parts to the exercise, so we're going to
Okay.
move ahead now that you've got your 1 through 9. Each domain gets a score from 0% to 100%. And the joy is you get to be the teacher and the student. You're the only one who's going to know this unless you choose to share it with somebody else. This is really like a diary in graphic form today. That's why I suggest that people date it. And every time I facilitate this exercise, I do it myself. So 0% would be it's the pits. It couldn't possibly be any worse. And 100% is it's perfect. I cannot imagine that it could be any better. So they're not all going to add up to 100%. Every slice gets its own percentage of 0 to 100.
Okay.
Shelley,
Yes.
percentage of what it should be.
100% being perfect.
Of where you are today.
So where are you today? Are you perfect at 100% in your perception?
I'm so
Or are you
bad.
0? It's the pits. It couldn't be any worse.
In each category?
In each category.
Oh,
yes.
Lord.
In each category. Every slice of the pie gets its own percentage, 0 to 100.
Oh, Lord. Not to be a pessimist, but I could have
We laugh or cry.
Does everybody have their percentages? Okay, so I heard a lot of you say that it was difficult to do the 1 through 9. How did you feel about the percentages?
That's a little easier.
A little easier?
Well, difficult in that it's sort of a rude awakening
Right.
for some of us.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
But you know, we don't know what we don't know.
Mhm.
And if we do not revisit where we are on a regular basis, we can just go along thinking everything's fine. This is a gentle way for you to do some self introspection.
Personally,
It's nobody doing this. It's like you're having what I would call an aha moment.
Ugh.
So I would reframe rude awakening to aha moment, because it's in the aha that you then have the opportunity to make another choice. Aha. It's all up to you. I'm not the teacher. I'm the facilitator. I'm just putting it out there, and you get the opportunity to decide what you're going to do about it. Now, there is a third part. The third part, how many people had 100% in at least one domain? No 100%. Okay, I had 2 100%. No, I had 3. No, I have 4. I have 100% in play, romance, family, community, and they weren't all number 1. See, you have a forced choice of 1 through 9. Something's going to be number 9. But I have been doing this work now for 20 years. I still don't have 100% in all domains, and I can assure you, when my father was dying, he got 100%, and everything else kind of collapsed around it. And by the same token today, I had a 7:15 meeting, and I came straight here. So there's some things I would normally exercise in the morning. On a 7 a.m. morning, I can't exercise before I go, and especially not when it's this cold. My bones to warm up. So just usually we would have more time to process this and talk about it, but here's where the rubber meets the road on this exercise. Write down one thing that you could do in the coming week that would get you closer to 100% in each of these domains. Now, so let's go back to the body one. In each one. So let's go back to the body domain. Remember, we started over here as a couch potato. We ended up over here as an exercise addict that was, avoiding other responsibilities in life. If you wanted to lose 20 pounds, would it be appropriate to say, I'm going to lose 5 pounds this week? No, that's totally out of balance. It's one baby step that could get you closer to 100%. So what are some of the baby steps you could do? Let's just have 3 of them in the body domain if you wanted to lose 20 pounds.
Cut out drinking sodas.
Cut out drinking sodas.
Drink more water.
Drink, okay, but I want you to quantify it. So if you cut out drinking, that's zero sodas. Drink more water may be drink 8 glasses of water a
Yeah.
day.
Right.
Okay, what about exercise? What would be a small step?
10 minutes a day, or 10 minutes 5 days a week.
10 minutes, 5 days a week. And that's what I want you to do is quantify what this baby step looks like. You're not making a commitment to doing it, but here's a baby step that would get you closer to your goal. Now I'm going to set my whip again.
Do it on each one?
Each one. You will have 9 baby steps.
I think it's easier for me because I went through the videos and
It's amazing. It gets easier the more you do it. And it's fun. It then becomes like a game,
because we actually went through the videos together.
right? To edit, which we really didn't have to edit.
No, just how to add a few things.
And ideally, they should be things we are willing to actually do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't win the lottery on the money one.
Oh.
You can if you
could
buy a
buy a lottery
ticket.
ticket, you could buy a
Or
lottery
don't buy
ticket.
any more tickets.
Yeah. Looks like bingo.
There's one right by my house. It's an $80 buy-in though to start playing it.
Okay, who needs more time?
Just a little tiny.
I guess
How many people are experiencing cash flow crunch right now? Isn't that interesting? Almost everybody. It's that time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Okay. Because I just wrote down my last one to do is the money domain. It was collect outstanding money. You know, everybody it seems like is going through a cash flow crunch. All right, well, I'm going to be brave and share what I put in each of these domains. Usually what I would do is on a flip chart, I would not put anybody on the spot, but if they wanted to share what they were doing, then we'd have, sometimes people would actually say, I like that idea better, that's what I'm going to do in the coming week. And they talk themselves into using these 9 baby steps as goals for the coming week. I invite you to do the same if that fits. But nobody's holding you accountable, so this is entirely a personal exercise. In the body domain, which interestingly I ranked number 8, and I gave myself a 90%, my birthday begins November 1st, that is my birthday, and ends on November 30th. It's called an annual Shellybration. And in that Shellybration month includes Thanksgiving and my wedding anniversary. So I have, not surprisingly, gained 3 pounds.
Oh my God.
And my goal in the next 7 days, and this is big for me because I like my sugar, and John fixed cheesecake with a fresh blackberry sauce last night. Insult to injury. I was like, no,
Not the cheesecake.
So no dessert for the next 7 days.
Wow.
Is there anybody? I can do this. I've done it before. No dessert for the next 7 days. Anybody want to throw out one for the body domain?
Exercise 3 times this week.
How much exercise 3 times this week?
Oh, I usually do about 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes 3 times this week. Okay, Lois?
Well, mine's not really about exercise. It's just to this week try to balance time. That way my body can rest.
Okay, so it's get more rest.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if you can quantify it, I would suggest that you do that. I also want to just throw out that Master Yoda says there is no try, there is only do. So eliminate try from your vocabulary. That's just a little friendship tip. Okay. My mind domain is read a chapter in the current Deepak Chopra book I've got going. I have neglected my reading, and this one really stretches me to wrap my mind around this brilliant man. So, anybody want to share one in the mind domain? Yes.
On the mind domain, I wrote to recite daily my affirmations out loud.
That's good.
Recite
like
daily
that.
affirmations out loud. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else want to add one for the mind domain?
Finish my book called Release Your Brilliance.
In the coming week?
I like the title.
You're going to finish it in the coming week. Wow.
Wow, there you go.
Release Your Brilliance. Be watching for Delmore Johnson's new book, Release Your Brilliance.
No, not my book. I said finish reading.
Oh, reading! I was going to go, wow! You're going to write a book?
But you just spoke something in the atmosphere.
Amen. I'm not going to take it back then.
I do, because I've been saying for the last 3-4 years I'm going to write a New York bestseller.
Do it.
It's going to come to pass. So there you go.
Okay. Is there anybody in here who is currently unchurched or is unhappily churched? They're looking. Alrighty then. So I'm inviting both of you, and I can check this one off my list, to come to church with me this Sunday. Come to church with me. We'll talk about it afterwards. So I get to check this one off. Anybody else in the spirituality domain?
I'll share to do Bible reading and prayer before I turn on the computer.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is. That's
Bible
it.
reading and
Oh,
prayer
okay.
before you turn on the computer.
Actually,
That
that's mine
is
too. It says
hard.
be committed
That's
to
it.
reading the word daily.
Don't just get committed.
That's it.
Do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Do
yeah.
it.
I put that in mind. Would that go more in spirituality?
It can go either way. See, here's the cool thing. I have a couple of them here that I'm doing 2 in 1. Because when I get down to romance, it's also play. So there you go. Romance. I'm gonna watch a movie with my husband tonight, and it's in. I put in play, enjoy the chaos, because it has been kind of a chaotic morning. But the truth of the matter is, the play with a movie, if we have a romantic comedy, and we do, will be. So I'd like to do a lot of twofers if I can. Anybody else in the romance domain?
I'm completely blank on the romance.
And two.
Mine's is weird. Like, all I just put down was learn each other, and what I mean by that is my relationship before my marriage, like, it lasted 9 years, so
Focus on what you're going to do in the coming week.
that's what I'm saying. But the thing about it is, like Bull is completely different, like, than Andrew was. So I'm having to relearn how to be. I don't know how to explain that, but
Can you take him through one of these exercises? Would that help you learn more about each other?
probably. That's why I was trying to get him to come here today.
You know, they come when it's perfect. Anybody else in the romance domain?
I drew a blank.
You drew a blank.
Write a love note every day.
Right
That's
for the
good.
coming week?
Yes.
Oh, righty
Wow.
I did that for the
I
first 6
like
or 7
that
months,
one.
so I'm gonna pick it back up.
That's
Do we
good.
have to put something there, or do you have to?
You were your choice.
Unless you
You
don't
were
want
a
it.
choice.
either.
If you don't want it, if you don't take necessary action steps,
Priority list.
you're a choice.
Say for instance, my romance is 0%. Okay, and it's number 9 on my list. So, well, I say that because I'm not in a relationship, so that's why
Me
it's
either, and
0%.
it's just not at the top of the list.
Right.
And
But it's
not
number
a
9.
priority.
And
for
it's
me.
okay.
I liked your point though about a candle And taking a
Yes,
bubble
bubble
bath
bath
could
would
mean
be
romance.
romance.
And self-love, if nothing else. You know, if you don't learn to love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to?
See, I didn't
Shelley,
think of
like
that.
you like
Yeah.
Romance.
What in the romance
Me
realm,
too. Oh,
So that could change romance.
but is
Yeah.
just
You're
to
a
start
romantic
the
person.
day with a word of kindness,
Okay.
because that is my number one value. And if I'm giving what I want, a word
Oh,
of
this is
kindness
important, y'all.
to start
This
out.
is important, y'all. I want you to listen to Dana. Start the day with the word of kindness because
Because kindness is my number one value that we did on that other sheet, and if I start the day with a word of kindness to my spouse, not that, well, then he will be kind to me, but
it creates the space that you want. Kindness is present even if he is not reciprocating.
Right.
And that's what I want to make clear, because even in scripture it's very clear that we are magnets. We attract what we are. And so if I'm tuned to Rock 103 instead of NPR, that's a different vibrational frequency, and I'm going to attract what I'm putting out there. So that was very big.
And that is not to say that my husband is never kind.
We're not talking about your husband. We're just talking about a behavior that you want to do in the coming week.
See, and that's what I feel like I am sucking every negative ion vibe that's out there
Me
in
too.
everything.
Me too.
Well, this sounds like an aha moment for those of you who are saying that. Okay, let's move on to family. Boy, am I at 100%, even though it's number 6 today.
Compared to most of
Well, my brother and his wife were here for Thanksgiving. My mom was with us every single day for meals. We did church on Thursday. They left on Saturday. And then my wedding anniversary was on Sunday. It was the most perfect Thanksgiving I've ever had, and everybody was happy. So, anybody else usually in the old days it would have been call my brother. My brother doesn't call me. I have to call him.
Yeah, I know.
But that whole dynamic is changing. I mean, it's just to go through a near-death experience with my mom and the 60 days surrounding that. It's just we're in a great space.
That's great.
And just to call my dad once a week.
Call me down once a week. Okay. Community. Finish this class. This is my community activity for the day. Is finishing this class and giving of myself, and I'm having a blast. That's also part of play. In case you can't tell, this really does make my heart sing. I told Sherry, I said, if I didn't have to make any income at all, I would just do this all the time. Because people won't pay for it for the most part unless they go, this is something we could do for our church Sunday school class. And then all of a sudden, maybe some budget manifests. But anybody want to throw out something for community?
Get more involved in my area.
Get more involved in your area. Anybody else?
I put checked with CP and the Autism Society because I have offered to volunteer there before. Just I said this stuff in envelopes or whatever, but they didn't even utilize me.
Well, then move on to somebody who needs you.
I might have something here for you.
Oh,
Collaboration.
good.
Here we go.
Collaboration. Anybody in the money domain? I already told you what I'm doing.
Refi the house.
Send
That's
all
what
the
I'm putting.
invoices
Refi my
out.
house.
Send all the invoices out. Refi the house.
Save
Collect my
everything that
outstanding
comes
money.
in for a month and do not spend any of it.
Wow, that's big.
Oh, I just put save $10 a week.
I put that
Follow
too.
the monthly budget.
I just put make more money.
You gotta quantify it.
Yeah.
Make $1,000
Make more
a
money,
week.
the universe will go, okay, make more money. It could be a penny. Quantify your goals as much as you can, because these baby steps are goals. And then career domain. I will ask, Sherry's already done it for me, but for those of you who have any interest whatsoever in learning about blogging and how to create attraction marketing, please come to the workshop next Wednesday. So that's I can check off my career domain too.
Behind you.
I was just asking her about that
Will you
yesterday.
hand it to me?
Well, my career would be to get together for coffee with Shelley this week.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
that can happen.
Yes.
You'll hang out for just a minute afterwards. We'll get that on the calendar. Who else? Career.
I put finish, yes you can, both like John Mason that I got the last thing from Maury. I bought one of her
Oh,
books,
good.
and then read 4 chapters business plans at work. by
Wait a
next
minute, that's
Thursday.
2 baby steps. You overachiever, you.
Uh-oh.
Getting ready for the radio
All
show
right.
on Monday.
Yes, everybody
Yes.
tune in. BOC After Hours.
That's
What
right.
time?
7.
7
7
o'clock.
o'clock.
You can get to it on businessovercoffee.net and go right to Blog Talk Radio.
Yay.
You're there.
And so the last one is the play domain. This is my favorite domain. There are many years that I was not playing. I was working way too hard. And that's 100%. And now you've heard me reframe some things like mistakes are now high growth learning opportunities.
Yes.
A lot of it is just the way we look at the choices
Right.
that we're making and what's been part of our past. And
Absolutely.
so anybody have a play domain step that they want to throw out for everybody to
Xbox Connect is way too much fun.
Xbox Connect.
Oh boy.
You're the controller, and I tell you, if you want to combine body and play, that is the one thing you definitely need to purchase.
Do they have DDR with Connect?
Say again?
Do they have DDR with Connect? Dance Dance Revolution?
Yes, they actually have number 2 out on that one.
Okay.
And that will
Cool.
cover your
My 11-year-old
exercise,
would
too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
understand
saying.
all of
Yes,
this right
yes.
now.
I just wrote it down.
That's good.
So that's what we've looked
Oh, yeah,
at
it's incredible.
today in this module is taking a snapshot of where you are, literally ranking 1 through 9, looking at the grade that you gave yourself in each of those life domains, and what's one action step that could get you closer to 100%. Again, nobody's going to hold you accountable, but going back to integrity-based communications, if this really is something you want to work on, if these aha moments motivate you, inspire you to action, then hold yourself accountable. Or better yet, find an accountability partner who can help you stay on track. So that's it for our sampler of Living on Purpose. And if you are interested in taking me home, let's talk after we get off the air. But in honor and respect for your time, it is now 11 o'clock, and I turn it back to you, Sherry Henry.
Okay. On the air, would you let everyone know what the cost is for your book and for your product, for the
Okay.
virtuals?
The book is $12.95, and they can just go to Amazon.com. That's the best thing to do is just order it on Amazon. And the Living on Purpose seminar, the full 2-day seminar, is $295 retail. And what I'm doing is the DVDs that are purchased today as a result of this class or online would be $25 a
Oh,
piece.
wow.
And
That's
they
a
will-
deal.
And they will get a 30-minute phone consultation with that. So $75 for all 3 of them, and that's only as a result of this
Yes.
show.
And
or
they
being
need to
in the class.
mention this class.
Absolutely.
And give your contact information for the virtuals one more time.
Again, it's Shelley at ShelleyBauer.com, SHELLEY at ShelleyBauer, BAUR.com. And if you ask for the handouts, I will send them to you in a PDF.
Excellent. And I'm going to just change seats with you so I can talk for
So
just
it was
one moment.
$75 for 3, all 3 what?
All 3 DVDs plus a 30-minute consultation.
Well, first of all, I just want to say to everybody here that Shelley Bauer is phenomenal. And I mean that from my heart. Thank you so much for being a part of BOC and for making us look good and collaborating with us and sharing with us, because I know that you get paid a lot of money for what you do. You're very much high in demand. And she did this at no cost for us today. So I think we owe her an applaud for bringing this to BOC and also allowing us to broadcast this virtually. Again, Shelley will be coming back to do her full seminar, 4 hours. There's a cost involved, but as you can see, this shows you it's well worth it. So we will be giving her the platform here to do that, and we'll be announcing it in 2012. Okay? All right, and for the viewers, I want to tell you how to get to Business Over Coffee. You can go to businessovercoffee.net and see a comprehensive view of Business Over Coffee and what we're all about. We work with professionals who want to optimize their business through social media, educational exchange, and networking events. Today, this is kind of a 2-part. This is a workshop, which is educational exchange, And it's also a networking event because as soon as we finish up here, everyone's going to talk and hand their cards out and so forth. And you get to watch it virtually. So it also covers the social media side. So you can join us anywhere in the world. Go to businessovercoffee.info and join us today. It's only $10 a month, and we would love to have you on board. One quick thing I want to tell you about is our upcoming event, Click and Connect Holiday, and this is for everybody in this room as well. This is an event, if you miss any event during this year, you don't want to miss this event. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. It's a landmark event. Come in your holiday attire. If you're not in Memphis, Tennessee, then watch virtually. Get dressed up and watch virtually. Feel good about yourself. We are going to be doing some Facebook video chats at the event as well, so you might want to join us that way. Now, I want to tell you about a product that we have as well. Dr. Cindy Trim was recently on BOC radio, and she is phenomenal. She recently spoke at TD Jakes Woman Thou Art Loosed conference. If you're familiar with that, that's several thousand women that attend that event. And we were so honored to have her on the radio show. So that's available for only $5. You can get that on businessovercoffee.net in our e-store. And you can also get it here, those of you that are here today. I'm so excited. I've got to tell you about our new product. We now have our tote bags. You can get these online. You can get these today. These are $20 a piece. And this is real important. Very important. We have our coffee mugs.
Yay!
Business Over Coffee, $10. They're here. So everybody here, you better grab them quick because I know the people watching virtually are going to be going to the website as I spill coffee all over Shelly's stuff, to the website to get your coffee cup. So just go to businessovercoffee.net to get any of that. But most of all, let us help you make connections, collaborate, get more exposure, and help you get more business. We want to help you share your business, and we're bringing everyone together. So be a part of that. Go to businessovercoffee.info, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Shelly Bauer, and thank you all the BOC members. Thank you, Bertha. I guess I'll keep that one.